Welcome to Midcard Maniacs. I'm Jay.
And I'm John.
And today we're doing our Clash of Champions 2020 predictions. Yeah. We're going to kick this off with the most controversial of booking, the Raw Women's Championship on the pre-show between Asuka and Zelina Vega.
I don't even know what to say about this match, given that the build is controversial in the sense that you could have just had Mickie James come in here or just like hold off on the Mickie James and Asuka match. I'm not against Zelina Vega here.
No, like, I like Zelina Vega, but, like, there's no way she's winning, and there's no way that she's going to win on the kickoff of all things. It just seems like a useless match. I'm gonna bet that Mickie James runs in.
Someone's gonna interfere. Something's gonna happen. At the end of the day, Asuka's winning.
Yes. Next up, we've got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship between Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Lucha House Party. I think it's inevitable that the Lucha House Party are, like, they're falling apart right now, right? Like,
yeah, like, it's just really strange because, like, Kalisto's being very, like, heelish. You can tell that they're gonna, like, fall apart, especially with him and Lince Dorado saying, like, oh, we're gonna be, like, Grand Metalik's manager, or, like, his, like, ringside associate. So they're not gonna win because it's gonna be weird if they're just gonna turn into, like, a feud.
This seems pretty straightforward to me. Shinsuke and Cesaro, an unlikely tag team that is sticking with it. I don't know why. Oh yeah, it's because there's no fucking tag division.
They just keep splitting up all the tag teams.
In both the women's and the men's, and I hate it. Cesaro and Shinsuke for the win. Next up, we've got a match that nobody's gonna give a shit about because we've seen it before. It's the United States Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. This time, at least, Bobby Lashley has the title.
Yeah.
He's not trying to win it off Apollo Crews, but the fact that the Hurt Business is now this big baby face.
They're tweeners. One promo, they're baby face. The next promo, they're heels.
Right. So, but I still think that Bobby Lashley's going to retain because he has to. If they're going to be this, like, big important storyline between them and Retribution, then they have to retain.
See, and this is where I feel Apollo Crews is going to take it because they're notorious for flip-flopping titles like it's a hot potato. But I think either Retribution is going to cost Bobby Lashley the match in a way that he loses the title. That way the title can go do its own thing during this really ridiculous storyline. Or something involving Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Or for all we know, it could be a DQ finish. I feel Crews is going to walk away with it.
I do think there's going to be shenanigans, but Bobby Lashley retains.
I want him to retain, but I'm going with a flip-flop hot potato title and Crews gets it back.
Next up, we've got a match we've seen 1,000 times. The Street Profits versus Andrade and Garza for the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Thankfully, Garza and Andrade split up 2 weeks ago and are now back on the same page because writing makes sense. Street Profits, it's a no-brainer. There's no reason for them to lose the titles right now, especially to a team that just split up and reunited. I would have preferred Dominic and Humberto Carrillo to challenge them for just to switch it up.
The Street Profits have this. I'm a Garza fan and I like Andrade, but, like, it doesn't make sense for them to have the titles. Next up, we've got the Women's Tag Team Championship between Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus the Riott Squad. It's so frustrating to me that Nia Jax has a belt right now. So I want the Riott Squad to win. I don't think it's gonna happen because Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are so dominant, and I can't see how the Riott Squad could win realistically.
This is only going to be a 1-minute match. Shayna Baszler is going to put them both in a submission hold and they're both going to tap out. Zero offense on the Riott Squad because that's all Baszler and Jax have been doing. Jax beat both of them and Baszler beat both of them in under 3 minutes. Like, how am I supposed to believe that the Riott Squad's gonna win?
They're not, and the fact that this card is pretty big, like, they're not gonna put time into this. They don't give a shit about this storyline, and I don't think you need to, because the way that they're treating the women's tag division is fucking ridiculous, especially with the Iconics, but that's another story. But moving on to a better women's match, we've got the SmackDown Women's Championship between Bayley and Nikki Cross.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one because everyone expects Bayley to retain, but I want Nikki Cross to win, and I think she can do it. But is she gonna require some help?
And I don't see her getting any help from Alexa Bliss right now. Bayley's had this title for a long time. Eventually, you either are going to have her lose it to Sasha Banks when Banks comes back, keep the belt on her until WrestleMania, because that's what this moment feels like, where we need the Banks and Bayley payoff. Like, Banks wins the Royal Rumble, and we get Bayley and Banks to finish off this story.
But does it matter if a belt is involved? Not to the fans.
No. In the eyes of Vince, is it storyline worthy, or does it have to have that championship title on it?
It's tricky because you have to think of, if Nikki Cross wins, what are her options then?
Feud with Alexa Bliss as she goes into Sister Abigail mode.
Like, I think that's going to happen regardless. Is it title worthy? Like, is she just going to be a transitional champ from Bayley to Nikki Cross to eventually give it to Bliss and she can make some weird ass Fiend belt?
Feed some Sister Abigail face. If Bayley holds the title, you know that the end goal is Banks. If Nikki has the title, then you know the end goal is going to be Bliss. But at the same time, neither of them need the title to continue their storylines. It's more likely that Bayley's going to have more opponents to go after, because if she loses the title, then you have to go right into the Banks feud. At least now she has something to like delay this feud by having other challengers.
That's true. So it could be Nikki now, and then next time we're going to get Alexa Bliss step up. Well, that's happening. We have the Nikki and Alexa feud kind of continue and come to a head, and they cost each other the matches at some point, and Bayley continues to retain. But at least there'd be more people involved, I guess.
Don't forget, we also have probably newly repackaged Carmella coming out.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's not going to go for a title run, is she?
Yeah, she's going to come out probably as the ballroom dancer, the Emelina that we've always wanted.
Carmelina.
At least we know she can dance.
That's true, but I hope it's cool dancing and not ballroom dancing. Sorry.
Judging by the outfit and all the like mirror shots.
Now, would you rather Bayley go against her, or does it make more sense for Nikki Cross? I can see Nikki Cross and Carmella having some random feud. It doesn't make sense for Bayley. I think Bayley would just squash her.
Carmella and Bayley were best friends at one point too. So
well, Bayley's changed, John.
I know, and then Carmella comes as this like positive.
Maybe she
dancer.
converts her back into the lovable Bayley.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't fucking know. I think Bayley's gonna retain, but I want Nikki Cross to win.
And I think Bayley is going to retain because she's got nothing else to do after this.
Next, we have probably both of our most anticipated match of the evening, which is gonna be the Intercontinental Championship between Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn in a ladder match. I can't wait. This is gonna be the match of the night. Easy.
This could close the show, and I would be overly satisfied because you know Hardy's gonna do something crazy. Zayn's great at selling, and Styles is phenomenal.
It's on his gloves, damn it.
This one, I kind of like the storyline idea where like Sami Zayn never lost a title. He still has the IC title, and he's claiming to be the champion.
He's got some vengeance.
Yeah, I love Sami Zayn. He is a fantastic wrestler. He's got a great character right now. Him actually taking the title will create more interesting storylines by being like the real champ.
Right, the rightful champion who never lost. It makes sense for him to get it back and then people like be bitter.
What's nice about the format of the ladder match is no one has to eat the pin. It's simply Jeff does a too crazy of a spot on Styles and Zayn can just like grab the title for the win. I mean, Zayn probably was going to lose it eventually to Hardy after like the Sheamus feud, but I think he's a better champion.
I would also go with that. It's more interesting at least.
I'm more entertained watching Sami Zayn on my screen than Jeff Hardy.
In most cases, I would say, no way. But we've had too much Jeff Hardy for the last few months that I'm ready for a change.
If we're building up to Survivor Series, I rather see something like Sami Zayn holding this title because he would do so much more in an interbrand match. You could put him up against anyone and it's going to be a banger.
Next up, we have the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. This is an interesting one that came out of nowhere, but I'm happy that it's happening because I like the Usos individually. I think that Jey has the opportunity to be a singles star. Is this going to be Uso's time to win the title?
100% no.
You think he's just gonna wreck everyone and leave?
You're not gonna put the title on Roman repackage him to be the Roman that we've always wanted.
And then the next pay-per-view just fucking, he loses it.
Loses it to Jey Uso. Roman's like, I knew I shouldn't have listened to you, Paul. I'm gonna be a fun-loving Superman punching babyface. I'm the big dog, damn it.
You're right. Like, Uso has absolutely no chance. I want him to show up at least, you know? I don't want him to get Superman punched and that's it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match. I feel like he'll have a little bit of resilience. There may be some tension. Him being like, yo, cuz, don't be dirty. Like, let's fight with honor for, like, the tribe. It's going to start off as, like, a good, clean match, and then, like, Roman's just going to, like, beat him up really bad.
Yeah, there's going to be definitely, like, a close-up where you see him kind of change to being completely like an asshole. That's important to build his character as a heel. Like, he just needs to wreck everyone.
As much as I want Jey Uso to have his moment, I would be okay if Roman squashed him. I would be perfectly fine with it because this is the new Roman and this is what I want to see. Him just show up, kick ass, and leave.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. And finally, we have the WWE Championship between Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton in an ambulance match. I don't really care about it, to be honest. I know it's going to be a fine match. I think both are great, but I don't care for ambulance matches. Although I'm always willing to try and figure out what they're going to do next, because the Braun Strowman one that we saw last time was pretty dope.
I'm picturing a few things, okay? The more likely is Keith Lee's going to bust out of the ambulance and take out Orton, but the comedic side of things could be after all those wonderful photoshopped photos of all the people that Orton put in the hospital. You just picture like Flair comes out and starts chopping, Big Show comes out, Christian comes out, everyone's coming out in ambulances, taking down Orton, and just McIntyre like throws him in as all the men stand tall in the ring.
That's absolutely not happening. I do think Keith Lee will make an appearance. I think that it could be when McIntyre throws Orton into the ambulance and Keith Lee is driving away. I think it would be fucking hilarious, and it at least make sure that Keith Lee is on your mind, because that's important. They're really pushing Keith Lee. Like, I thought this was going to be a triple threat, especially in an ambulance match where we assume there's no DQ, right?
You have to get the person in the ambulance
and
to
that's
win.
it.
Yeah.
Like, if there's so much heat between like Orton and Lee, then just have Lee come out and give him a spirit bomb or something.
And then you get your triple threat at like Hell in the Cell.
We want to see this, and I wouldn't even know who I'd, like, obviously I'm always going to say I want Keith Lee to win because Keith Lee should be champion. How we get there is inserting him into this match somehow.
So McIntyre is my prediction for this.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Keith Lee is going to interfere. We're either going to get a triple threat or Orton and Lee for the like 6th time in the last month.
I hope it's not that. It better be a triple threat, which would be great because that's like a very quick call up to championship title shot.
That's like a Finn Balor style. Get called up, get the title, shoulder injury, and look at you now. Back to where you belong at NXT as the champ.
So those are our predictions. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Like this video, and if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything Midcard Maniacs.